Hello, hello, and welcome back to another stream with the Otter. It's finally time to see the conclusion of the Second Punic Wars, or at least the first part, because I think the video is pretty long, so I'm probably going to cut it into two parts. But we're definitely going to see where this is going now. Scipio the Younger is going to enter the scene, and probably gonna be making the decisive move in this war. So let's see where things going. Yeah, let's just go right in it. Yeah, those are the recaps of the casualties that happened. Definitely being embarrassing for the Romans. Yeah, 30,000 casualties, and then the worst one, where they just got massacred. You know, I would just give up at this point. But I'm not Rome, so they're not gonna do that.
How do you solve a problem like Hannibal? In a crisis such as this, the Romans often turn to religion. What's going on? Are the gods mad at us? The gods must be mad at us. But why? Why? No, why?
Honestly, not the first ones to do that.
Virgins broke their sacred oath.
I mean, we still do that today.
That's why Hannibal's kicking our ass. What should we do with them? Appease the gods! Bury them alive!
That seems reasonable.
Who did they even boink? It was those guys! Huh? What should we do with them? Beat them to death!
What? Also, what the fuck?
We're freaking out. Okay, now that that's out of our system, let's go find a real solution. The real solution, first of all, involved raising a new army.
There was
Remember,
something.
At Cannae, Hannibal had wiped out the biggest army Rome had ever fielded. Possibly 20% of Rome's military-aged men. Rome needed to replace those losses, and fast, before Hannibal arrived at their gates. But where would those replacements come from? Rome had a few ideas. Quick! Lower the age of conscription! You! Put down those Digimons!
Yeah, sure. Let's send 5-year-olds.
Enlist all these slaves with the promise of freedom. And equip them with all these religious weapons and armor. Anything we've got! All right, men. You are Rome's last line of defense.
Yeah, you got this, kids.
After the earth-shattering defeat at Cannae, the Romans expected Hannibal to arrive at their gates any day now. In Hannibal's camp, the mood was triumphant. We did it! We won! So when do we march on Rome? Today? I'm free in 10 minutes. Whoa, slow down. We're not going to Rome.
What?
We're staying right here. Are you an idiot, Hannibal?
Is he letting them come?
I'm smart. We don't need to march on Rome, because after what we did, the Romans are definitely going to surrender. Watch. Hey, Jim Bob. Yes, sir? Go to Rome and discuss peace terms. Yes, sir.
What?
Hey, I'm here to discuss peace terms. Piss off!
That worked well.
Piss off! What? They didn't surrender? No! And they were mean!
Aww. Shocking.
Hannibal was learning that Rome...
Yeah, because let me tell you, Rome does never surrender. We learned this... Well, technically I learned it, you didn't, because you didn't... I didn't watch it back then. Rome just does not surrender. And... due to that, Hannibal will probably have some problems, you could say. But yeah, this will definitely be interesting what he's gonna do and what Rome's gonna do with all those 5-year-olds. But let's keep watching.
Rome had an unprecedented attitude towards surrender, even when Hannibal offered to ransom thousands of prisoners back to Rome, a pretty common practice in ancient warfare. The Romans refused, opting to let their own men be sold into slavery rather than paying a penny to the enemy. It was clear that in order to defeat Rome, you had to annihilate them. If any Roman man was still standing, you
but they
yet won.
didn't have
But
the atomic bomb back
Hannibal
then.
decided not to march on Rome, and it was a controversial decision. Even one of his own commanders famously told him, "Hannibal, you know how to win a battle, but you do not know how to win a war."
It seems like it.
From Hannibal's perspective, perhaps he knew his army.
I mean, just logically speaking, I'm pretty sure he knew how many people Rome lost, and that there couldn't be much more people, like, defending it. So, why wouldn't you just go and get it? Oh, wait, yeah. Carthaginians aren't aggressive go-getters.
Was designed to survive behind enemy lines and sow chaos. It may not have been well equipped to undertake a risky siege of one of the most fortified cities on Earth. Plus, with many of the southern cities defecting to his side after Cannae, Hannibal likely thought things were going pretty well, as is. We'll stay the course. Okay, so the Romans didn't surrender after 3 major defeats. But surely they'll surrender after 4. Unfortunately for Hannibal, however, after Cannae, the Romans well and truly learnt their lesson.
Oh, did they?
Well, would you look at that?
Are they really being strategic now?
Who said Hannibal was too dangerous to fight? You. And who said we shouldn't fight him directly? You. And who tried to fight him directly? Us. And what happened? We lost 20% of our military-aged men. That's right. So tell me, when Hannibal approaches, what do?
We run away?
We run away. I'm a genius. Clap for me.
Wow, he's taking it for himself.
Maximus kind of became the unofficial leader of Rome. Even if others were elected consul, his influence was unparalleled, and Rome quickly reverted to the Fabian strategy of avoiding Hannibal. They knew they couldn't defeat him, so instead, they hoped they could at least contain him. They raised an impressively large number of men, partly by enlisting teenagers, slaves, and criminals. And rather than trying to fight Hannibal, they instead turned their attention towards those treacherous southern cities that had switched sides. Thanks for joining the winning team,
gotta take
guys.
back all
Here's
those
the
cities
deal.
we lost.
All you have to do is provide me some troops and defend your own city, since I'll be too busy to defend it for you. Now, I'm going to briefly turn around, look this way, and when I look back, you better not be being massacred by the Romans. Oh, for goodness
and
sake!
they're being
Romans
massacred.
spread out their newly formed legions and began attacking the southern cities here, there, everywhere. The southern cities expected to have Hannibal's protection, and Hannibal was inundated with requests for help. He was forced to run around southern Italy, trying to encourage defection while rescuing his own allies. But when he showed up, the Romans would often leave, only to come back the second he went away again. And as these southern
that's a
cities
mean
found
tactic,
themselves being
but it
punished
works.
severely by the Romans, they began to realize that joining Hannibal may not have been such a good idea. Hey! You think you're so big? Attacking my allies? Why don't you come out and face me?
No.
Because you're scary! The fickle southern cities frequently switched sides depending on who appeared to be winning, and the whole situation became a nightmare for Hannibal to control, playing a constant game of Roman whack-a-mole to fend off the enemy armies. Having not long ago seemed near extinction, the Romans had managed to turn the situation around by placing Hannibal in a clever predicament.
Yeah, I'm just saying he should have attacked.
Italy, the southern cities would likely capitulate to Rome, meaning he couldn't leave. And since the Romans wouldn't fight him, he couldn't inflict any more dangerous defeats. For now, Hannibal had been muzzled. Southern Italy had been his prize for his impressive Italian campaign.
Hannibal
But
Barca
those
Selector.
clever Romans found a way to take his prize and turn it into his prison. With the Fabian strategy neutralizing Hannibal for now, the Romans were freed up to refocus their attention to other fronts.
Celts.
This whole time, while we've been discussing Hannibal and the Italian campaign of the Second Punic War,
the
fighting had
Carthaginians
actually been
itself?
occurring elsewhere. For example, in 216 BC, the Romans had sent an army north to punish the Celtic tribes that had joined Hannibal. However, as the Romans entered the Latana forest, little did they know those
that's not the
clever
Teutoburg
Celts
forest.
had set up a trap.
But
The
it
Celts
seems
dropped trees
similar.
on them, decimating the Romans, and they even took the commander's head to use as a religious sippy cup.
Well, damn.
So that went pretty bad.
Stylish.
Whoa, very bad. But thankfully, in other theaters, things were going a bit better. For example, let's look at Sicily. After Cannae, internal chaos in Syracuse caused this longtime Roman ally to switch sides, because being a winner is more fun. The Carthaginians also landed troops, hoping to retake their lost island, while Roman proconsul Claudius Marcellus moved in to besiege Syracuse. The siege was a brutal...
I'm just realizing it's been years since Hannibal went to Rome and caused internal issues in Rome. Why didn't the Carthaginians pick up on that and maybe also attack? Because, I mean, Hannibal did that on himself. Like, he just he took men that he picked by himself and just went there. He didn't go there with the actual Carthaginian army, I'm pretty sure. So, like, maybe Carthaginians living in Spain, but what about all the other Carthaginians? Couldn't they have attacked and take advantage of the situation? That seems stupid.
Slug for the Romans, largely due to the presence of one famous scientist and mathematician, Archimedes. He lived in Syracuse at the time, and he invented a variety of clever contraptions to defend the city.
Yeah, this man
there was a
be smart.
giant claw that could grab and destroy Roman ships, and purportedly even a big mirror that could magically ignite them. The Carthaginian forces on the island attempted to come to Syracuse's rescue, but luckily for the Romans, they all got diarrhea and then died.
Aww.
Finally, in the city itself, the day of a big annual religious festival
that might have
and the
explained my
said,
question.
"Well, fellas, we've been holding off
Just
the Romans for over a year now.
pooping
I
and
think
dying.
we've earned ourselves a little party." Sir, we're still under a massive siege. Are you sure? They'll probably take advantage of it. Well, Carl, I'm taking advantage of the
And
open
they'll
bar.
run drunk.
Sir, they've got battering rams. Well, Carl, I'm ramming these hors d'oeuvres into my mouth. Sir, they'll tear down our walls. Well, Carl, I'm tearing it up on the dance floor. Sir, they're literally
That's
at
a
the
very
gates.
smooth guy,
Well,
but
Carl, I'm
I
literally
feel like he will
at
be
the
Roman
cheese
soon.
platter. Marcellus took advantage of the drunken festivities, stormed the city, and plundering ensued. In the chaos, Marcellus
much
ordered
booty.
Archimedes be captured alive. Some sources say Roman troops entered Archimedes' home, and they were like, "Hey man, are you the math guy? Go away, I'm drawing circles. Look, I just need to know if you're the nerd. Come on bro, get out of here, you're messing up my circles." Now is not
And
a
then
good
they
time to
killed
draw
him.
circles. It's always a good time for circles. I love circles. Either stop drawing the circles or I kill you. I choose the circles.
They really killed him,
Despite
wow.
not securing Archimedes, by 210 BC, the Romans did secure Sicily, and also put down a
yay.
Carthage-supported rebellion on nearby Sardinia. 2 Roman successes, and there were more to come. After Cannae, King Philip V of Macedon saw an opportunity. He was concerned with recent Roman expansion into Illyria, and so, when he saw Hannibal annihilating the Romans in Italy, he said, "Oh my gosh, hey!
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you're so cool! Let's form an alliance and annihilate the Romans together!"
Uwu.
Sure. Yes!
And then he turned into a dolphin.
Hannibal
Oh, wow.
hoped to secure Philip's help in fighting Rome. But a Roman army was sent to the region, stirred up Philip's other Greek opponents, and essentially kept Philip bogged down in Greece for the entire duration of the war. Another kind of Roman success. But the
Count
main
that.
front Rome was hoping to push Carthage back in was Spain. The riches of Spain made it one of Carthage's most valuable possessions, and the Romans were eager to weaken it. Remember way back at the start of the war, the consul Scipio
It's
was
been
supposed to go to
years.
Spain, but ended up rushing back to Italy when he realized Hannibal
Oh, yeah, his
was
men
crossing the Alps.
are in Spain,
He
though.
then faced Hannibal at Ticinus and had to be rescued by his son. Well, after he recovered from his wounds, he proceeded with the original plan and joined his brother in Spain. There, the 2 Scipio brothers fought a successful campaign against Hannibal's brother, Hasdrubal. Over the next few years, they won a number of key victories, even taking Saguntum, the city that had kick-started this entire war. Yet more Roman success.
Yeah,
A
that
trend
seems pretty good.
appeared to be
But
emerging. Whenever the Romans
Hannibal
fought
isn't
anyone
there, so
other than Hannibal,
you know?
they usually came out on top.
exactly.
Perhaps
That's what I mean.
these other fronts would be the key to Rome taking back control of this war. Perhaps it was time for Rome to return to their old ways of being the aggressive go-getters.
No.
And perhaps
Don't
it
do
would
that.
help if Rome had a Hannibal of their own.
Okay, yeah, well then it's okay. There is Scipio the Younger.
Scipio the Younger was the son of Publius Scipio, currently fighting in Spain. This made him a member of one of Rome's most prestigious families. Not much is known of his childhood, although there is one story of how he was getting hot and heavy with a young lady, only to have his dad barge in and drag him out. Wearing
That's
nothing but a
embarrassing.
cloak. This story was written by a Roman poet to make Scipio look bad, but by modern standards has ended up making him look pretty rad. My guess is if Rome had a high school football team, Scipio would be the quarterback.
Yeah, probably.
Scipio was only 18 when the Second Punic War broke out. He was at the Battle of Ticinus, where he famously rescued his father, and he was one of the survivors of the Battle of Cannae, after which he threatened to cut down any man who dared abandon Rome. He was a natural leader, and up to his ears in spunk, and therefore he rose through the Roman ranks shockingly fast. We need a new military tribune, but Hannibal has killed so many men, we're running out of options. Put me in, coach. Scipio, you're only 20. You can't be a tribune. Come on,
he
coach.
got this.
Put me in. Well, you do have a lot of spunk. All right, you're hired. We need to elect a new Edile. Who do we have left? Put me in, coach. Scipio, you don't meet the minimum age requirement. I got this, coach.
Who cares?
I got this. Well, okay then.
They put 5-year-olds in the army.
Ugh, my room's a mess. I gotta cook dinner. Oh, and would you look at that? My fly's down. Life sucks.
Oh yeah, a fly on a toga.
Put me in, coach. Wow, you're so spunky. When Scipio was 25, however, he received some bad news. His father and uncle in Spain had both been defeated in battle, and shockingly, both of them were killed. The news must have been devastating for the young Scipio, but it was also devastating for Rome, as almost all of their Spanish gains were wiped away.
Well, that sucks.
Okay, listen up! We need someone to go and replace the Scipios in Spain. So, who's up for it? Come on, who's gonna go? Fabius, Spain seems unwinnable. There's no glory to be had there. Yeah, the glory is here, defending the homeland from Hannibal. Well, somebody has to go.
Why don't you go?
I said, well, somebody has to go. Put me in, coach! Scipio was eager to be the one to go and replace his
a little
father
too
and
much
uncle in
eagerness.
Spain. However, there was concern amongst the older senators. You're only 26. You can't lead a military campaign. He's right. That's a good point. And you're 71. You can't stand up without a little urine dribbling down your leg. That's a good point. He's absolutely right. Scipio didn't meet the typical requirements for the position, but as the only person willing to go, this young piece of hot Roman meat was unanimously elected proconsul and sent to lead the Roman armies in Spain. He hoped to carry out a campaign as impressive as Hannibal's had been in Italy. In fact, Scipio rather admired the one-eyed general. Scipio, you've got a Hannibal poster in your room. Yes,
How
but he's the enemy.
rebellious.
I'll let you in on a secret, Billy. You know how we're gonna win this war? By marching straight at the enemy? No, that's the old way. We've gotta be less Roman and a little more Hannibal. Hey, by the way, don't just barge into my room. That's an infringement of my privacy. Privacy?
Oh no, is there a
Privacy,
sponsor
you say?
coming up?
Well, Scipio, if it's
Will it be
privacy you
NordVPN?
want, then you, my friend, need NordVPN.
It is.
Don't touch me. How would you like to be innocently downloading inspirational photos of Nicolas Cage, only to realize it's malware stealing your data and telling all your friends you still sleep between your parents because of scowy dweems? Yeah,
Not if you
didn't
snowing.
think so. And that's why you need NordVPN. With a single click, NordVPN connects you to secure servers around the world, keeping you safe from malware and other online threats. Their Threat Protection Pro features go the extra mile in preventing your data being stolen by
I mean, I gotta confess, okay? I technically am still sleeping between my parents because, I mean, my mom lives all the way in the north of the country and my dad all the way in the south of the country, and so I am right in between. I admit it.
scanning your downloads for malware, blocking malicious websites, and even
detecting
detecting fake online shops. DolceandBanana.com? I don't think so. But that's not all. With NordVPN, you're not just protected, you can also unlock better deals in other regions and access content that isn't available in your country. So get protected today by heading to nordvpn.com/oversimplified and grab an exclusive deal with 4 extra months for free. That's nordvpn.com/oversimplified. And as always, you'll be supporting my channel. So thank you. Now, where were we? Oh yeah. Hannibal contained a young piece of hot Roman meat sent to lead the Roman armies in Spain. Scipio was charismatic, extremely confident, bold, and probably most importantly of all, he thought differently from other Roman generals. So, Skippy, what's the plan? Don't call me that. We're Roman, so same thing as usual, right? We march straight at the enemy, right? Get this,
No,
Billy.
have some tactic.
No, we don't. Scipio was a real outside-the-box thinker. There were 3 main Carthaginian armies in Spain, 2 led by Hannibal's brothers, Hasdrubal and Mago, and another led by Hasdrubal Gisco. Most Roman generals might have looked at these armies and said, I just gotta, march straight at these guys and kick their ass and stuff. But not Scipio. At a time when many believed winning battles,
I might kick that army that's in Portugal
first.
first.
Greatest strengths was an ability to see the overall strategy behind his actions. He knew that Spain was the closest thing Hannibal had to a base of support. With its mass resources and manpower, it's where Hannibal likely hoped to get supplies and reinforcements.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Spain is basically Hannibal land and not really Carthage. So that's why I was confused why Carthage itself isn't attacking too. Would be smart, Just saying.
Spain's base of support was the city of New Carthage, the most fortified city on the peninsula, perfectly positioned to communicate with and receive supplies from Africa. And so, if Scipio managed to take New Carthage, he could take Spain. And if he took Spain, then maybe Hannibal would fall. To Scipio, Spain wasn't just some sideshow. It was the main show. And it all rested on New Carthage. But a surprise attack on Carthage's capital city in Spain? It was a ridiculous idea. Even if you pull off the 7-day forced march past the Carthaginian armies to New Carthage. Once you get there, you'd only have a couple weeks to take the city before the Carthaginians arrived to kick your ass. Sieges of cities that fortified usually took months, if not years. So, Scipio, how are you going to pull this off? Well, first of all, to make sure the surprise plan stayed hidden, Scipio kept it a total secret, even from his own men. Where are we going, Skippy? I'm not telling you. Is it Disneyland? I'm not telling you.
Well, he's lucky that his men didn't question anything.
This secrecy kept the Carthaginians from preemptively reinforcing the city. As a result, New Carthage was left under garrisoned, because the Carthaginians believed it to be kind of naturally impenetrable. It was surrounded on 3 sides by a lagoon, and only accessible via a narrow isthmus. What's an isthmus, you ask? Maybe read a book. All right, Scipio.
Yeah, it might help because I don't know myself.
Now the other Carthaginian armies are only a 10 days march from coming and kicking your ass. Just what were you thinking? Well, Scipio had learned something crucial. Every afternoon, the tides made the lagoon around New Carthage briefly shallow enough to cross. So, he ordered a large diversionary attack on the main city gates, distracting the city's defenders.
Ooh, and then he kind of come from the side.
Force traversed the lagoon, climbed the unguarded northern walls, and entered the city. They ambushed the guards and opened the city gates to the rest of Scipio's army.
Strategic.
And just like that, New Carthage had fallen. In a single day, Scipio had taken Carthage's capital city in Spain. And he made it look easy.
Well, that's
with it,
even more embarrassing than what happened to Rome in a way.
Several silver mines near the city, and various powerful Iberian tribes even joined his side. And now he was in a great position to take on the other Carthaginian armies in Spain.
Okay, but here we are going to stop for today. Because like I said, I will cut the video into 2. And we're going to watch the next part in the next video, or maybe looking at how far we're in. I might even cut it in 3, but I don't know yet. But I hope you had fun with the video today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, don't forget to check out my wife's channel as well. And yeah, now have a nice day, and bye-bye.